It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, that's right. Let's talk some sports. It is Tuesday, January 24th. Had to figure out what day it was for 1 second there. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you listening, watching, woodwardsports.com. Fletch, JB. Maz is out today, so yours truly and Braylon Edwards taking you for the next 2 hours. How are you, big fella?
I'm doing good, man. Always good to be here with you. Had a nice walk earlier. It's very nice outside for this time of year. JB, Fletch, what's going on to you too? Say hello. Ryan Ermanni, I'm going down to LCA tonight.
Oh, are you?
I am going down to LCA, as Joey's texting me right now. Going down to LCA, check out the Red Wings. They haven't scored over 2 goals in the last nine tries, if you will. Am I going to be good luck like you were when you went down there and you broke up the Toronto Maple Leafs hold over them?
That was the last time they scored over 2 points.
There you go.
Over 2 goals, I should say. 2 points, I said. 2 goals. They got 2 points on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah, so maybe I need to go back. Braylon, I believe you are going to be the goal-scoring curse breaker tonight.
I'm excited. I haven't been to LCA to go to a game. I think last hockey Matter of fact, last hockey game I went to, a hockey matchup I went to would have been the Blackhawks and the Wings, which is the last game they played at LCA in 2020 before COVID. So it's been a couple years since I'm excited. Jay's going, my sister, our boyfriend, so slash baby daddy, so I'm excited.
A little LCA, baby, little Red Wings game. Hey, before
DJ Tom T's coming too.
Oh, that's phenomenal time. Love DJ Tom T. Hey, got to get your take. Just a quick synopsis, and JB, I want you to weigh in on this as well. If you don't know, we are all used to be pretty fairly significant wrestling fans.
Hey.
Some of us still are, some of us not so much. Raw 30th anniversary special last night. What'd you think?
It started off pretty good, and I think it ended up pretty good. I saw some clips online. I think I tapped out right around 9:30 or 9:40 or so. Getting to be an old man. But it was cool. You know, they still got a lot of stars that are alive. They did the D-Generation X thing was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. They brought those guys out there. You know, I think what they embraced, which was cool, is they're so used to having those guys come out there, whether they're decrepit, whether they're
raising
old,
hell,
like wheelchairs and crutches, and they're raising hell at 65. Like, these guys are old. These guys' bodies have been through war for the last 40 years. Like, they all look good. Pause. They all look good. They all look healthy. They all look in shape, and they all
except the Road Dogg.
The Road Dogg look good. He's just fat.
Yeah,
but he's been a writer for WWE for a while, so he's been making that coin. That's that coin side of things. Sometimes when you make a lot of money, you get fat. So but they look good, but they played on being old. It was like, you know what? Nah, man, I'm retired. I'm retired. So that was kind of cool to see. And obviously Seth Rollins came out, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was good. At the end of the day, man, you know it's our part of our DNA. I was talking to my boy Rich on Saturday. Shout out to Rich.
What's up, Rich?
It's a part of our DNA, man. It's a part of who we are. Like, wrestling is a part. I've been watching. It's funny. I've been watching wrestling since I was 2, since I could understand what's going on TV. Raw is 30. I watched all 30 years.
I know.
Like, so when they're showing the open and they're showing highlights and they're taking you back to moments that happened, whether it was the game returning.
Almost remembered every single one of the moments that they show. Yeah.
Like goosebumps, because it's a part of, I took a little piece of, some of my favorite superstars and added it to what I was, my makeup, and in certain moments in football or, whatever, fights. I'm like, I hit you with this, why I put you in a camel clutch. Like, so it's just a part of who we are. So I'm going to always tune in for anniversary moments with WWE, but I think I'm over it after WrestleMania this year.
JB, anytime I hear
I'm 40.
I mean, the Hulkster opened it up last night.
Hype. Yeah, that was really cool seeing Hulk Hogan back out there again. Of course, his mic wasn't working quite well, so it went in and out, so we half heard him, half didn't hear him. But still, it was nice to see. It's just that nostalgia factor, bringing all these legends back once again. You got the Undertaker coming back as an American badass character on a motorcycle. Him sharing some words with Bray Wyatt, which was cool as well too. And then you got Brock Lesnar at the end, just coming back, destroying everybody. So it was just nice to see him, especially the DX moment right there. Yeah. As you said, they played on to them being old and that just like, cool. Hey, look, we don't got it anymore. We're still cool, but we don't got it anymore.
I was like, thank you. I'm so tired of y'all bringing these guys out here. You miss them, you see them, and then they get beat up. You're like, I don't want to see 60-year-old Ron. Speaking of that, the APA, that might have been my favorite segment too.
Damn.
Hey, so they did like a club deal. You got, I'm gonna just say it is club.
Dude,
deal.
I saw it.
Hey, that one was great, and it was like, wait, what's this? And then that one was great.
That is great stuff. Great job last night to the WWE. Braylon, you are gonna go to the LCA tonight. Hopefully, they fare better than the fans who walked through the doors of the LCA last night, because it was an embarrassing performance by the Detroit Pistons. They lose 150 to 130. They scored 130 points and they lost by 20. An embarrassing performance by the Detroit Pistons against the Milwaukee Bucks. Braylon Edwards, I give the floor to you.
Since we first started, and since the Pistons started, 2021, since August, so when they drafted Cade Cunningham, we've been talking to, whether it was Rod Beard, whether it was Kool-Aid, whether it was Chris that we had on the show, whether it was Big Sean up in Grand Rapids. Shout out to my brother Sean. I miss you, man. You got to get here soon. Sean, part of what we're Pistons. Like, we've been asking the question, is Dwayne Casey the guy for the job? Like, we've been asking him about certain players. We've been asking about Dwayne Casey. Yes, everybody knows, it seems, that Troy Weaver, he has his pulse on what's going on. He's made some great moves, like to be able to get Jalen Duren like how he did, drafting Jaden Ivey when the other guys were on the board, picking up Kate. So, he's made some moves. Bojan Bogdanovic, great move. Got rid of some players, freed up some money so they have some money. So we know Troy Weaver seems to be on the right path. Dwayne Casey, it's time to move on from him. You've been a catalyst of this. And I was of the mind, listening to Rod Beard, like, you know what? I can give him more time, because when you brought in Dwayne Casey, it was not to do a rebuild. When you brought in Dwayne Casey, it was, hey, we got Blake Griffin's coming in, we got Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson. You have a veteran team. Now we need to do what you did in Toronto. We need you to do here in Detroit. So that's what we're paying you to do. And then 3-4 years later, now we're going to do a rebuild. It's not what he signed up for, but he embraced the role. Ryan, what you're seeing happen with the Detroit Pistons is this. You got a team of young guys on the team, okay? Keep in mind, Dwayne Casey's the second oldest coach in the league, only behind Popovich.
Yep.
And Dwayne Casey's 70 or so. This NBA is young. Like, Jaden Ivey, is he 20 yet? You look at Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham, is he 21 yet? Jalen Duren, they just talk about him losing his passport. He's 19 years old. It's a young team coached by an older guy that's trying to figure it out. Now, they respect him a lot. You can see the respect. They went to the game last year, this past playoffs, in TD Garden to see the Celtics. They had energy to teach them what it felt like to be in that atmosphere. That's something Dwayne Casey did for those young guys. Isaiah Livers, I believe, was there. Cade Cunningham was there. So he loves these guys, and they love him. But I think it's a respect thing with the kids. They look at him as an older guy. He's not in touch to what's going on. The teachings, that the way the NBA is played today, it's not working. Sometimes you see the Pistons score 130. Sometimes you see them score 80. They never seem to keep a spark going. And I think the players, they respect Dwayne Casey. They look at him as, their grandpa, and they have so much respect and love for him. But at the same time, I don't think he's moving them. I don't think they're buying into him. Like, I think they respect him, but at the same time, like, they're getting annoyed because they feel like they're losing, like, weeks. They feel like they're losing games. They feel like they're losing seasons playing under Dwayne Casey. But guess what, Ryan? They're not going to say anything because of the respect they have for Dwayne Casey, the love they have for Dwayne Casey, and they don't want to be the bad guy. Like, look, man, get his old ass out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to say that. Nobody should say that. But I think that's what you're seeing when you watch those games, is they're not in touch. They're not on the same page, and the Pistons players are young, and they're just waiting for their Ime Udoka. They're just waiting for their Jason Kidd. They're just waiting for their Stephen Kerr. They're waiting for
Chauncey Billups, Gary
Stackhouse, somebody that they could connect with.
Let me just tell you, Bray, and I've said it. I feel like you always have to give
all due respect to Wayne Casey.
I feel like you got to give. I don't know why we do this. This is a results-oriented business. I know they're the youngest team in the league. We always feel like we got to say we love Dwayne Casey. Great for Dwayne Casey because this is not what he signed up for. Right, we understand that. I understand that. But I'd make the change now.
I would too.
I'd absolutely make the change now. They need a Jim Leland, Dan Campbell kind of no nonsense guy. When he came out post game and said, "Well, we're playing up against a championship team." No, that's effort. You only give up 150 points if you lack effort. Yeah. And there's no talent. Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 20 points in the first half. He shot 100% from the field. Foul him going to the basket.
Yeah.
Don't let I guess he did go to the line a couple of times, so they did that.
He leads the league.
But again, you cannot do that. This is not an acceptable effort by the worst team in the league, by anybody in professional sports. And what kind of message are you sending to these kids? And I call them kids, these Detroit Pistons, this young crop of Detroit Pistons, when you're getting your teeth kicked in every night.
Yeah.
They've played 49 games, Braylon. They've only there's one game this year they allowed less than 100 points. Once in 49 games. Do you know how many times they've given up less than 110 points?
How many times?
Four. Yeah. 4 of 49 times. That's effort, man.
It definitely is effort.
That's effort.
It's effort, but here's the flip side of that coin. Do you fire him right now? And the reason why I asked that question is everybody wants who. Everybody's waiting to see if they can get who. Victor Wembanyama. So do you keep him through this season? Just because at this rate, you're gonna have the worst record, so you're gonna have the best odds. Do you keep him through this as soon as the season's over with?
Well, you got 39 games to go.
Right.
Every time these guys take the floor, they should be learning something.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they need to be learning, working on their game, all this stuff. But when you give up 150 to the Bucks, when you give up 135 to Minnesota, when you give up 147 to Philadelphia, when you give up 135 to Portland, you ain't learning diddly poo.
Yeah, that's just true.
You're just not.
And not to mention also a guy in Bojan Bogdanovic that you brought in who's doing his job. By the way, Bogdanovic has just been playing. He's been playing lights out, especially to be playing on a team that's this bad as this young. He's over 20 points now for 10 games in a row. I think the Detroit Pistons record is 13 or 14. So he's closing in on that record. The question becomes Bojan Bogdanovic. He came, he signed on. He's a great player. He's an older player. If you don't fire Dwayne Casey now, there's a guy like Bojan Bogdanovic, I made a mistake coming here. I want out. So I can look at it as that. You want to get rid of Dwayne Casey now? That would be a good look for Bojan Bogdanovic. Saying, okay, they're moving in the right direction. They do care because you just leave him on there. If I'm Bojan Bogdanovic, I got to be on the bench again, another game. You know what? I'm hurt.
It's just very difficult. It's one thing to be bad. It's one thing to be young. It's one thing to lose Cade Cunningham. But it's another thing to go out there and just not get back on defense or give up a $150, a $140. I just rattled off for you all these high scores. It just can't happen. And I think it's just not acceptable. Tom Gore should have a serious conversation. Troy Weaver should have a serious conversation and say, we cannot continue this.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad you are, how young you are. It cannot happen. It sends a bad signal to the fan base too, because we desperately want the Pistons to be good. And I know you're trying to get this Victor Wembanyama. This guy, great. You're gonna have an opportunity to get him anyway.
True.
You're gonna have an opportunity to get him anyway, whatever the case may be. So
it's just a lot of inconsistency this year, and obviously there's been injuries. Jalen Duren's been hurt a little bit. Bagley's been hurt off and on all year, including the end of last year as well. So I definitely get that. But Saddiq Bey, the inconsistencies of Saddiq Bey.
How's he getting better?
He's not.
That should be a major concern if you're Troy Weaver and Tom Gores. Guys, we're going to take a break. We've got Josh Henschke, the Michigan writer for Rivals. He's going to join us with some really timely information, something that we were kind of floating out there yesterday. We'll have that for you in about 15 minutes from now. But Green Bay Packers making news today regarding Aaron Rodgers. Tell you what that is. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC. Same great service that customers have come to know. Go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, you can find them in Dearborn. That's right, on Michigan Avenue for over 50 years. All the brands under one umbrella now. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads. Find them.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
At Uptime. That's right. Uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Got a big project coming up? Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. Once again, that's 844-GO-2 and Alta.
Hey, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway out today. We're going to talk a little Michigan football coming up in the next 15 minutes or so. Some news floated out there by one of the Michigan writers from Rivals. Really interesting take. Josh Henschke will join us in a little bit. But I wanted to get this news regarding the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Did you see this?
I did see a little bit in terms of where he cannot go.
The Packers will want at least 2 first-round picks in a trade for Aaron Rodgers. Peter King shared that column. King added that Jets owner Woody Johnson would happily pay that price, but does Aaron Rodgers want to play in New York? But it's not up to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has no trade clause. He does not have a no-trade clause in his contract. So if they ship him out...
That was Green Bay protecting themselves.
That is absolutely. The Packers did make note today, though, according to Adam Schefter. The Packers will not trade Aaron Rodgers within the NFC Conference. If you want to keep playing, it's either with us in Green Bay or you're going to go to the AFC.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
My first thought is, like, Aaron, why are you leaving? Like my first thought is, Aaron, why are you leaving? Like, they drafted Christian Watson, Romeo Dubes. Tunyon played better at the end of the year last year. You still have offensive linemen. You got some young offensive linemen in there that you drafted last year. The defense is going to be really good next year, a lot better than they were this year. The NFC is a crapshoot. Why are you leaving the NFC? Why? Like, we look at the NFC, the Detroit Lions, if they were in the playoffs this year, based on the run that they had, Detroit Lions would have been third best team in the NFC. They've been third best team out of 7. And depending on how the game would, you just never know. Now, obviously, how Philadelphia played, they got destroyed. Right. But you just never know in the NFC each year. But you do know that you have a chance. Like, from Aaron Rodgers, why am I leaving? With that said, the AFC, you talked about it yesterday, Ryan. The AFC is a gauntlet, and it's going to only get better. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars are only going to get better. Brandon Staley may he may get an offensive coordinator that knows what the hell he's doing, and they may figure out and get better. Sean Payton's about to be the head coach for the Denver Broncos, which means Russell Wilson, the game's going to simplify for him. The Broncos are going to be better. The Raiders, who knows what's going to happen in that situation. Oh, by the way, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, they're that good. They're that deal. And, Josh Allen in Buffalo. Why are you even looking at the AFC? And the only question I could come up with, Tom Brady, the AFC, they told him, they was like, AFC this, you're in the AFC East. Tom has it easy every year. He beats the Jets. He beats the Dolphins. He beats the Bills every year, blah, blah, blah. Tom went to the AFC, so Tom's won in both divisions. Once again, I go back to that competition piece. Guys like that on that level, they want to compete. They want to do what the greatest did, or the ones that they're compared to. So that's the only reason I can see him wanting to go to the AFC. Outside of that, AFC is a crapshoot.
Well, he's going to play next year. There's no doubt in my mind that Aaron Rodgers is going to play. He is due, if he just simply plays football next year, he's due $110 million over the next 2 years. Yeah. That's guaranteed money that he gets if he plays. If he retires, he forfeits $110 million. I don't care how much money you have in your life. If you got $110 million sitting out there, that's winning the lottery.
But you said you think he's the type of guy that can walk away from it.
I do. I do think if there's one cat out there that would walk away from it, it's him. I still can't see him doing it.
I just can't see him doing it because, the one thing I think it implies is quitter. Like, and I know he's not quitting, he's retiring, but I think it's just like it's unfinished business, it's quitting. And I think that's something that sits on your mental. Not only did I leave 110 on the table, I quit. So, especially after the getting a deal. When you sign on a deal, all this holdup that you've done, Ryan Ermanni, that you sign a deal means you're gonna be here. You're telling your teammates, all right, bet it's us. It's the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay, I'm gonna follow through. Let's get this done. And then all of a sudden, after 1 year, I don't like it. I'm out. It's quitting to me. So I can't see him going to the AFC. I think a lot of this is going to be.
Well, they're not going to trade him to the NFC. You think he'd go back to Green Bay?
I think it could be fixed.
Yeah.
I think it could be fixed because this back and forth, this hold up, I'm not going to hold you guys up. I'm not going to make it long. The only way I can see it going this long is if he comes back to Green Bay. You know him. He's dramatic. He likes to make you wait. He likes to make you think about it. He likes to make the entrance the right way. I think he could. We were doing this last year.
I'd like to see him get traded because I do think it's good for the league. I think it's good for the NFL to see Tom Brady leave New England and play in Tampa Bay.
Or do you think it's good for the Lions?
Well, it's good for the Lions too. I think it was good to see Matthew Stafford after 12 years leave Detroit and go to LA. I think it was good for an off season anyway. And we'll see still. I think a lot of people have written Russell Wilson's obituary. I don't know if he's done yet, but it was good to see him leave Seattle and play in Tampa. I think it would be good to see Aaron Rodgers leave. And we've seen it before. I mean, Joe Montana played elsewhere.
Kansas City Chiefs.
So did Brett Favre.
And he made an AFC Championship.
That's right. There's no doubt about it. So, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers ended up in New York for the Jets, Tennessee, Indianapolis, or Las Vegas, I think it'd be good for the NFL.
It would be. I mean, the best place, I think the most fun place would be the Raiders.
Yeah, I see Devontae again.
If he goes to the Raiders, I mean, he's like right around the corner from where he's from California. That'd be good. Devontae be on the same side as him as well. They have Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs. You look at Hunter Renfrow as well. They have some players. They have some players that he can play with. They got some players on defense as well. I'm sure they'll make a splash in the free agency. So that would be the only place I really want to see him play because I would love to see him reunited with Devontae.
But again, if he goes to the AFC, and if this is,
he's in Mahomes' division. If he goes to the Raiders.
I mean, no matter where he goes, he's going to be playing against some stiff competition there. And then Tom Brady, what do you do with him? I mean, Tom Brady on his Let's Go podcast last night said, Jim Gray, who's a longtime friend of his, what are you going to do? Now, I'm certain, Tom Brady says, if I effing knew what I was going to do, Jim, don't you think I would have done it by now? It was almost like he was really annoyed with the question. But at the same time, how are you annoyed by that question? You do a podcast. Yeah. You know the only thing that people want to know is, are you coming back and where you playing? 1 and 1B. That's it.
I think it's not necessarily known yet. I think it's not necessarily known yet. Yesterday or even Monday. Monday was yesterday. I'm sorry. Monday I said.
Today's Tuesday?
Today is Tuesday.
Oh wow!
Doesn't it feel like a Wednesday?
Yeah,
it does feel like Wednesday. Okay, I'm glad I'm not by myself.
No, it's Tuesday. You're right. Yesterday was Monday.
The Red Wings game.
Fair enough.
Tuesday. But if Brock Purdy, if he gets them to the Super Bowl, and it actually may have happened already, to be honest. But if Brock Purdy gets the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl, if I'm saying, friend, I don't need Tom Brady anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm not looking to say, hey, okay, Tom, and let's say they make it to the Super Bowl and they lose to the Bengals, which they are if they make it. But if I'm saying, friend, I'm like, I don't need Tom Brady for a year to guide him and
put everything on pause.
I don't need to put what we're doing on pause, because you never know in the NFL now, like, whose contract is up next year. You know, who's going to be who's going to be the guy you got to pay this year? Like, where does the money at? So if I'm Tom and I'm thinking it's the 49ers, that's the only thing I can see him waiting on and saying I don't know. It's because the 49ers are still in the conference round. So now maybe the week after we'll know more, but if Brock Purdy makes it to the Super Bowl, Tom Brady's not going to the 49ers, and I think that's the only holdup right now with him saying, I don't exactly know yet. I think he's waiting to see what's going to happen with the 49ers and Brock Purdy.
I was surprised how much reaction the Brady to Detroit suggestion got. And by the way, it was...
Took off.
It did. And it was, from my perspective, it was, if I'm Tom Brady, I place that call. Yeah. If I'm Tom Brady's people...
Yeah, not the Lions.
I place that call, because it would seem to be a perfect fit. You just look, the NFC is a layup, the AFC not so much. And again, what could you do? Is there one thing that you could do left in your career that you haven't done already? And that would be go to a team like the Lions and win a Super Bowl. But just back to Green Bay for a second. If you're Green Bay, what do you think they want him to do? Do you think they want to trade him, or do you think they want him to come back? Because I believe, if you're smart about this, I believe you want to trade Aaron Rodgers. You've got Jordan Love. You've got a younger team now. You can attract. You can get some money back, get about $60 million back in guaranteed money, and you'll get some draft capital to reshape your team and get there quicker, rather than just let this thing ride out. I think they want to trade him.
I think they're on both sides, to be honest. Like, if I'm being, I don't want to play both sides. I should pick a side. But the reason I think they're on both sides is because they wanted to work with Aaron. Like, they wanted to work with Aaron. Like, they ultimately wanted to work with Aaron. Aaron gives them the best shot coming up to win a Super Bowl. The NFC is still wide open, if you will. Like, the NFC, look at this year. Like, the NFC is still wide open. So I think they want, but at the same time, they're looking at it like this. Yeah, we want Aaron, and Aaron's this, and back-to-back MVPs, 4 all-time, and 4 total, Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. Last 6 years, he ain't done it for us. Like last year, they number 1 seed, they had home field advantage, and they lost in the first round. The year before that, home field advantage, and they lost, in the NFC conference at home. The year before that, they lost. So I think if you're looking at it from that standpoint, from the Green Bay Packers, they're like, I get it, MVP this, MVP that, but in the playoffs, he disappears. So what are we really trying to overly pay him for? Why not just give Jordan Love a chance, for we've completely wasted him as a first-round pick? So I see both sides.
All right, to be continued. Guys, we're going to take a pause on the NFL and get to some college football next. Jim Harbaugh, a lot has gone on over the last couple of weeks, and there is a quarterback coach job out there. Is a former Michigan Wolverine coming home to take that slot. We'll ask Josh Henschke that from Michigan Rivals. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You could walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Wicked awesome.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetter8.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway. The Midway's got the giant slide, the winter bumper cars, and of course that indoor arcade. Not to mention you can always grab a drink at the Lodge before or after any Wings or Pistons game. Hey, bro, you gonna hit the Lodge up today?
Hey, I might check it out, man. Decked Out Detroit, baby.
There we go. Shop, eat, and play downtown anytime with Decked Out Detroit, and of course you can always check them out at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hey guys, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com, Fox2Detroit.com, Fox2 app. However you are listening, watching, consuming Woodward Sports Network, we certainly appreciate it. Everybody in the WoodwardSports.com chat, you can now join the community. For just $2, you'll get access to all these great face emojis and all kinds of different fun things, from content to contests, everything in between. It's $2, so have some fun with that. Hey, we've been having a lot of fun talking Michigan football over the last couple of weeks, and not so many great topics to discuss, but to help us break it all down, the publisher and owner of Michigan Rivals, Josh Henschke. Josh, how you doing, my man?
Doing great. How are you guys?
Doing so good. First and foremost, man, I'm a big fan of yours. You've been killing it lately, doing a lot of great things. So thanks for the time here.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate the kind words.
I appreciate it. It's very in-depth, all the work and all the tweets that you do there. Very in-depth. They come from a place of research, so I always know you're telling the truth.
Hey, Josh, let me ask you real quick, because we were just floating this idea, and then all of a sudden I saw it on your Twitter yesterday.
You were. I give you the credit.
I thought it was fun. This idea that Brian Griese, 49ers quarterback coach, would be interested, or at least talked to as a potential candidate to fill the open quarterback coach position, because he has come out of the booth and really done an incredible job in San Francisco. I saw a later tweet by you which doesn't say don't get your hopes up, but what do you know about that whole situation?
Well, I think the big thing is that, timing wise kind of makes this an issue, right? I mean, because you've got, the 49ers right in the thick of things with the playoffs. Jim Harbaugh and Michigan kind of want to get this process done of finding a QB coach and moving on. And, just timing just doesn't really make sense from that kind of standpoint between, trying to make things work with Griese and Harbaugh. It's just, it's unfortunate, but I don't think it would have been the direction that Harbaugh would have went anyway. And that's not a slight against Griese or anything like that. But, when you're talking about college roles and professional roles, especially a guy who's 1 year into this thing in San Francisco. I mean, you've got recruiting, you've got NCAA stuff. It's just a whole bunch of things that just logistics wise doesn't necessarily make sense right now. Maybe something happens down the road, but I think it's a good thing that at least Harbaugh is entering this thing with casting a wide net. Making sure all the boxes are checked, doing his due diligence, making sure he finds the right guy to move this thing forward.
Josh, we have personal experience in this studio. When you tweet about Jim Harbaugh, if it's unfavorable, it doesn't seem to leave you. What about Brian? What about Brian?
Too soon.
Too soon. Sorry, Brian.
It'll always be too soon.
What about Brian Griese? He tweeted a couple of years ago, "This is not good enough" about Jim Harbaugh. Is that relationship? Is that relationship not great between Brian Griese and Jim Harbaugh?
I'm not really sure, and I don't really think it's my place to speculate. But the way I view it is that if Jim Harbaugh and Mike Hart can work together and make it work, I think he can kind of bridge these gaps and get over whatever, even if there is bad blood or there's not. I don't know. But that's kind of my thought process. If him and Mike Hart can work together, considering all that happened, even though that one's further down the road than this one. This one's more current between him and Griese. But if those two can make it work, I think he can make it work with most former guys he has bad blood with.
Josh, let me jump in right there. Is there an issue between there's an issue between Harbaugh and Hart? I've heard about this.
Yeah, oh man, I can't even remember. It was back when Hart was a student. Jim Harbaugh made some comments about Michigan's. This is when
academics.
He was to
Stanford.
Braylon. I think Braylon would
I know
this too. He made some comments about Michigan's education and kind of the majors and stuff. I don't have the 100% specifics, but I'm sure Braylon can fill in some holes here. But Harbaugh made some comments about Michigan's education and majors these guys are going into, and Hart took offense to that. And in typical Mike Hart fashion, likes to share his thoughts vocally and publicly. So he kind of fired back a little bit too. So that's kind of the whole process there.
Yeah, thank you for serving me up on a plate, my friend Ryan Ermanni. I don't know if this is dupe that I wanted to catch, but yeah, basically Jim Harbaugh said when he was in school, they forced him into a certain major. He wanted to do other things. He had other aspirations and wanted to kind of open his mind to other academic deals. And in Michigan, they weren't for you broadening your horizons academically. They wanted you to stay here so they can control it, so that you can stay on the field. Basically saying like, yeah, they're not that smart. We don't want them to be that open. So I think that's along the line. I don't know if everybody can bridge the gap, but I hope that's possible. Not even about that. Let's step outside that realm for a second. Let's step into with Jim Harbaugh this season, coming off of 13-1, 2 year. Well, no, it was 12-2, 13-1. Where does Michigan need to get better? Where do you think they need to get better this offseason? If you had to pick one thing to be able to win that game, just the divisional. I mean, not the divisional, the semifinal. Not even necessarily the national championship. Got to win the semifinal. What do they need to do?
That's a great question. I mean, I think the big reason why they lost that game against TCU is the self-inflicted wounds, and they were very uncharacteristic self-inflicting wounds. If you were to pick a worst possible time to play the game that you haven't played all year, to have it at the semifinals, it couldn't be worst possible timing. And is that something you can work on in the off season? I mean, maybe it's a mental thing, but with all these guys coming back, the Blake Corums, Zach Zinner, Trevor Keegan, and all those guys, I mean, the expectations should be through the roof. I mean, these guys are set up to do this all again, and can they take it the next step further? I mean, most of these guys returning have been through two, heartbreaking situations. One probably worse than the other when you're considering, losing to Georgia like you did in 2021. But, they have to find a way to get over that mental hump. I think they've done a really good job the last 2 years of getting over the obvious narratives like Ohio State and beating Michigan State and winning the Big Ten and back-to-back and things like that. That's kind of the next big narrative that they need to bust, is to, even just the bowl games. I mean, you're talking, 0-6 or whatever the record is Jim Harbaugh's recently in bowl games. That's the big next step, is kind of just to go into big games and avoid making mental errors. And they've been so good at it the last 2 years. It was a very uncharacteristic performance against TCU. So I think, if that's the one big thing that you have to address and fix, I think you're in a pretty good spot. But how do you go ahead and address those things? I don't know. I mean, it's probably a mentality thing. And, I'm sure those guys are constantly watching that tape and looking back and thinking what they can do to fix that. And, it's a learning situation that they can move on from.
Here you go, Josh. Here's a bigger question for you. You look at Georgia, you look at Alabama, you look at even Ohio State. These are the teams that have the most 5 stars in the country year after year. Georgia floats around, Alabama floats around 17 this year. They have 7 alone in this incoming class. Georgia floats around 16. They have 6 in this class, and then obviously they have 2, and Ohio State has 2. What can Michigan do on the recruiting side to help things? Because you look at these draft classes, Georgia, back-to-back national championship, Alabama, they've won a couple in this decade, if you would. They've won more than a couple. They have all the 5 stars. Michigan doesn't have any, and they can't get over the hump in the semifinals. They can't beat TCU. They make mistakes. What can they do to increase their to improve their recruiting? Because right now, Michigan sits at 17, although back-to-back Big Ten. They beat Ohio State and blah, blah, blah. They're still sitting in 17th with their recruiting class. How can they recruit better?
It's tough. I guess everyone talks about the obvious elephant in the room in NIL and what teams may or may not be doing behind closed doors in terms of these pay-for-play stuff, and that shouldn't be used as a crutch or an excuse. But if you think about it, Michigan is basically technically refreshed their entire staff from a few years ago, so that kind of resets the relationship standpoint that these coaches have with players and
recruiting areas, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly, in recruiting areas and things like that. So things change in that regard. Michigan is an excellent school at developing talent, and they've taken some I guess low end 3-stars and made them into NFL draft picks. So the proof is there that they have the development capabilities. But in terms of these 5-star guys, I guess now these days it comes down to whether you want to play ball with these guys, because NIL is a unfortunately big factor. Michigan has proven that it can have a solid NIL platform for guys that choose to come to Michigan and sign there, but they're not going to play the game of paying for these guys for their signature. So I think that's kind of impacted recruiting a little bit, and you can kind of make the argument that Jim Harbaugh's flirtation with the NFL kind of especially last year kind of impacted things a little bit. I don't think that ultimately at the end of the day it impacted things a whole lot, but it's tough. I mean, you can make the argument too that Michigan might need a dynamite recruiter in this new role to replace Matt Weiss. Someone that has the relationships and has the ins and can go out there and really make some relationships and bring some of these stud recruits home.
Hey, Josh, been talking to you for probably 10 minutes or so, and I have not mentioned Matt Weiss yet, so I will do that now.
There you go.
What in the world happened? Will we ever know?
Maybe. I think at some point the police report might come out. I know Ann Arbor, since it's a university issue and not like a state or federal level, I think the information is probably going to be more public than it would be compared to the Michigan State Police or even at a federal level. As far as what happened, I don't really know. I only have what was available from the Department of Safety's website, where there was some improper access to emails or something like that. So that's really all I have right now. I don't really know what happened. I don't know what's going to happen next or what. It's not a good look no matter how you spin it. But hopefully for Matt's sake, this gets resolved and it's not anything too nefarious.
Last one for you. I got to ask about Jaden Davis, 5-star quarterback. Michigan's been a favorite at the top of the list all along. Do you anticipate Michigan is going to have to come up with, I don't want to say like a $13 million deal like the Rashada kid thought he got at Florida, but is that kind of where this thing is now? If you're going to get a guy like that, you better pony up.
Yeah, I think, with these big-time programs, I don't think you necessarily have to pony up because the money's going to be there. You look at J.J. McCarthy, for example. He's able to run his own foundation with all these NIL deals. And that's the thing, you don't have to pay these guys ridiculous amounts of money to come to your school, especially, as big as Michigan, as big as the Tennessees, the Alabamas, the Ohio States of the world. They're going to have opportunities to make this kind of money. So, to promise this type of stuff is just sets a really bad precedent for everyone else and all these other kids who are looking for an opportunity too. I don't think it's necessarily fair, and I don't think it's really good. But as far as Jaden Davis, I don't think NIL has really been a factor here. It hasn't really been mentioned at all during this process. I think relationships is going to be the big thing, and the fact that Jim Harbaugh ended this NFL talk the way he did, I think that helps him in a big way. He just spoke to our North Carolina State guy just this week and said that the love for Michigan is still the same even with Matt Weiss leaving. So I think this NFL talk probably opened the door a crack for other teams to get in, but Jim Harbaugh has made it clear that he's priority number one. He's taking over this recruitment personally and being the main recruiter for Jaden Davis. So if things continue the way they do, I mean, I still feel pretty good that he's going to end up in Ann Arbor, but there's no denying that his flirtation with the NFL, or whatever you want to call that situation, kind of opened the door a little bit. So I don't think it's time to be nervous just yet, but I think if anyone can close this, it's Harbaugh, especially considering how long-standing this relationship has been and how many times he's visited campus and things like that. So a lot of positive signs still there.
Josh, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it. We'll follow you on Twitter and Michigan Rivals as well. Thanks so much. We really appreciate it.
Same, Josh.
Appreciate you. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
You got it. All right. There it is. Check him out. Josh Henschke on Twitter and, of course, Michigan Rivals. Let's take a break. Okay. Come right back. We can react to that. I also want to get back to the NFL. React. Do it. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D, with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained, certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club today for the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. And don't forget to pick up Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Cal Tan, and Swedish Beauty Lotions. It's with 27 locations and more coming soon. Chili Peppers Tanning is your vitamin D headquarters. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. It's Chili Peppers Tanning and chilipepperstanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. Because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Centron World is aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling, flavored energy beverages and premium bottled waters. Centron is fashionable, functional, and fun. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, the Centron is your choice. Drink it, live it. Centron.
It's funny. I mentioned the Twitter thing because, Greasy was, man, when he tweeted about you got to get rid of Harbaugh, enough is enough.
Yeah.
After losing to Ohio State, and I believe it was 19. Boy,
it was the second 50. It was the second time they hung 50.
Yeah, I mean that was.
But everybody went off. Like Charles Woodson went off. I went off at the beginning of the year in a different way. Like a lot of people were going off on Harbaugh, but Harbaugh forgets for some people.
Yeah,
for certain people, Harbaugh forgets.
And it is curious to see. I mean, there's no like. Brian Greasy is doing a great job. I think Brian Greasy, it depends what he wants to do. Does he want to be a head coach? Does he want to be a coordinator? Does he like, Brian Greasy's made a ton of money at ESPN. Would he play 12 years in the NFL? Yeah. Man, maybe he just wants to be a position coach, be a quarterback coach. That's a really good job. You show up. You do your job, you go home. You don't have to meet with the media. You don't have to do all these other responsibilities. Hell, you don't have to call plays. You just go ahead and coach the players. It's a nice job.
Are you talking about in college?
In the pros.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In the pros.
In the pros,
He's got a great job for the 49ers.
And he doesn't have to recruit kids.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to recruit kids. He doesn't have to come back to college, where you got to work with hardball. And, guys weren't leaving the facility. When I played for the 49ers, I don't know how it is with, actually I do. It's the same. Like, guys weren't leaving, and it's talking about coaches. Guys weren't leaving until 11 o'clock at night. They're leaving at 10 o'clock at night, sometimes 9:30 at night, sometimes midnight. They're trying to burn the oil with hardball until eventually you're like, man, I got to get home to my wife. I got to get home to my kids. Like, I love the kids here, but I actually do have kids of my own. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But NFL, man, is very different from college. Like, the structure is very different. In NFL, man, guys are at home by 6. It's more leisurely, if you will, but it's tough coaching in college, man.
Just being a coach in college, I'm dying to know what Matt Weiss did to get fired, who he was working for, what he was looking for. Allegedly. Yeah, we don't know anything. This is us speculating with you. So you guys speculate with us. As Josh was talking, I was like, did he try to scrub an email off of somebody's account? Like something like along those lines? Because we have no information. Like, was he trying to go in the system and erase an email from someone before they saw an email? Well, it's so funny because, people do take the fall.
Yeah, this is true.
Sometimes in sports. I got a buddy of mine that was in coaching the University of Maryland football program, and he took the fall. For something that happened that he had nothing to do with.
Right.
But he took the fall. And I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what happened with Matt Weiss, but knowing a little bit about some of the things that happen at different college programs, I would not be shocked in the least to see that happen.
It's just so interesting. Like, with the situation you're talking about, that situation was it was a little bit easier to place that said individual in that because it came out with how they passed away.
Right.
So when it came out how the injury
player died at Maryland.
There you go.
Yeah.
Player died at Maryland, and it was during working out. Yeah. So it's easy to put strength.
Put it on the strength coach.
Exactly. It's easy to put
even though he wasn't there.
Very true.
Yeah.
Now you can almost get away with it. With this one, it seems. I don't know. We need something. Give us something.
Jaden Davis, so I am curious about that because even in today's college football, Jaden Davis, 5-star quarterback recruit, best top recruit 2 years. He's a
sophomore.
So junior, senior. So he's got 2 more years. Michigan's one of the favorites. His dad loves Michigan. And I'm curious, does it even matter what you do now? I mean, because we're seeing it more and more. And we mentioned with the Rashada kid from Florida. Guy's on his 3rd school now. And he hasn't even he's a senior in high school. He's committed to Miami. Left Miami. Committed to Florida. Left Florida. So whoever he picks next is going to be his 3rd school. It's got to be almost impossible to be a college football or basketball coach now because of the daily recruiting of these players. And when you recruit them, you have to re-recruit them. Even if Jaden Davis said, hey, I'm committed to the University of Michigan today, you can't rest on your laurels. Yeah. You would have to continue to recruit him. I don't blame anybody for wanting to go to the NFL if you're a college coach. I mean, Bill O'Brien, we'll talk about that later today. Does Bill O'Brien want to recruit kids to Alabama anymore? I mean, go to the NFL, go work for Bill Belichick, take over for him when he's done.
Bama is like the NFL.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, people come to you, right?
This is true. Yeah, 100%. It is difficult these days. You're talking about college, you're talking about constantly having to recruit, especially if you don't have a system in play. I think the one thing that Michigan, I'm happy this happened for Michigan this way. I'm glad that they got back on top, or they got back consistent because, they are on top. I'm glad they got back on top as this thing is going on, because if you don't have a structure about you as NIL is starting, those are the teams that are really struggling. Teams that already were struggling, didn't have structure, now you got the NIL. A lot of people say, well, the NIL should help you. That helps level the waters out. That helps water find its level. Not necessarily. Not if your team didn't have structure. Not if you're in Ohio State. Not if you're now in Michigan who got their stuff together. Not if you're in Oklahoma, or not if you're not a USC or a Texas, and the list goes on. Texas A&M proved this year that you can't just have money and just, NIL, it's going to make it all even. We can go spend this money, spend this. We can get this lineman, get this guy. They won 4 games this year after all the money they spent last offseason. So the teams that don't have structure in place, not like Michigan, those teams are going to struggle. So I'm glad Michigan has their structure in place.
Yeah, and I was
makes it easier to fall in line with NIL.
And two, what Josh said about the fact that Michigan's probably not just going to pony up a bunch of money for you to come to school here. Right? Isn't that what we've been talking about all along here? Jim Harbaugh and Ward Manuel are going to do it a certain way. If you perform, the structure is there. Look at J.J. McCarthy. Look at Blake Corum. Look at all these guys who have performed. And who's the basketball player? Not Mitch McGary, but
Hunter Dickinson. Mitch McGary. You take it back to big number 50? Big number 50?
Oh, God.
Too bad he got hurt his last year in Michigan, man. That sucked.
Man. Too bad. But, Michigan will take care of you if you're a good player. So,
but how much is that is out of – here's a good question, Ryan. How much of that is out of coaches and ADs and presidents' hands? Like, how much is that – case in point, it's a big company here. Let's say I'm just coming up with some – Ford. There you go. Let's say Ford was in contact with.
Wait, no. Let's say GM. Left Stanford Chevrolet.
I got it. Right away. But let's say GM was in touch with the number 1 quarterback in this 2023 class, and the hell with Michigan. The hell with what they think. We're going to do it on our own. Hey, you come here, we'll pay you this. How much of that is out of school's hands? Like, how much is that is Harbaugh and Ward Manuel telling companies that, hey, no, our kids can't do any NIL deals until they play a year, until you see where they're at. Like, that's another thing that needs to come out, because the way NIL is structured, per my understanding, if you look at Quentin Ewers, the whole Ohio State situation, that didn't have anything to do with Ohio State per se. That was a donor saying, yo, you come here, it's $1 million on the table for you. I don't need to talk to Harbaugh, but I'm going to be able to talk to Harbaugh because I'm a donor if I'm spending $1 million. So that's the interesting point. How can donors go outside of Harbaugh and say, look, you come here, it's $1 million on the table?
Probably could, right? I mean, you probably could, but again, if you're, Stephen Ross, if you're Stephen Ross.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Is Harbaugh going to say, no, that kid can't come here because I don't like how you bought him here? I don't think so.
Probably not. Depends. You want to make sure they got the scholarship offer out to him, though, first before
that's true.
You go on paying all that kind of stuff. All right, guys. Hour number 2, we're going to go steady stream of football. There is so much news in the NFL, and ESPN did a fun thing regarding the Detroit Lions. The biggest predictions in the offseason for the Detroit Lions. One name that they have attached to the Detroit Lions, we've actually mentioned here as well. Both of us have done that, so we'll tell you who that is. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When the bad guys see that black and yellow sign, it tells them,
stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you stays safe. Call them anytime, day or night. And know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you as long as you need. It's got technology backed by people, because safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work by people who are proven to care. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in Downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the classic meatloaf or the Cajun chicken Alfredo. But wait, what about breakfast?
What's up with breakfast, JB?
They got the stuffed potato pancakes.
Ooh.
They are back. Check out the Lumberjack, the Santa Fe, or the Blockbuster. Try them all, of course, one at a time, but try them all today at your local Big Boy.
That Blockbuster sounded good, man.
I know, right? But don't go anywhere because I got to tell you about the Monroe Street Midway.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. Look, the Midway is still going on strong even after the holiday season. You got to get down there. You got to check out all the activities they have planned for you. They got the Arctic Slide, the winter bumper cars, the indoor arcade, putt-putt, and not to mention, there is food down there that you need to try. They are serving up burgers, pierogies, homemade chili, chicken sandwiches, mac and cheese bites, and you can't forget they have gluten and vegan free options as well too.
Options?
So they're covering all the bases down there. But coming soon, we got the Woodward Sports Winter Olympics. You'll be able to compete with the likes of Darren McCarty. Braylon, are you still on injured reserve? Or are you good to go?
Hey man, I'm coming off the bench, baby.
You coming off the bench?
I'm coming off the bench.
Coming off the bench. All right, Adam Baydoun will be there as well, along with Ryan Ermanni. I think he's still nursing that groin injury, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So we'll
bowling groin injury.
He still got the groin injury. The Mavs will be down there as well as the heavyweights too, and the rest of the Woodward Sports family. So check out the Monroe Street Midway games, and also check out deckedoutdetroit.com for more information, and we will see you at the Midway.
Hey, hour number 2. Welcome back. Brian Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Masway out today. Fletch and JB with us. We were just talking about NIL in Michigan. See, Blake Corum's Camaro was stolen.
I did see that.
And so the Wolverine.com sends out a tweet. Michigan running back Blake Corum's prized NIL-funded Camaro stolen. Details on how you can help if you have a tip in the story. And then Blake Corum quote tweets it and says, "Wasn't NIL funded. My parents used their hard-earned money to bless me with something nice after I graduated high school. God bless whoever stole it." You know, like, we make all these assumptions, man.
No.
And like, we make all these assumptions. Like, kid's parents bought him you know what I mean? Like, it's...
I don't make assumptions, and here's why. When I was in my senior year at University of Michigan, Ryan Ermanni, I got brought to the compliance office, and the compliance lady talked to me, had the audacity to tell me somebody's filed a complaint. They said that they saw that your mom had a brand new Cadillac and that your dad drives a Durango. Can you, like, I swear to God on myself, can you talk in detail? And the first thing I told him is, no, I'm calling my mom and my dad first. Like, you're not going to call me in compliance office and just start your call. First of all, like, I knew there was nothing wrong.
Right.
But I was like, I wanted to get my emotions intact.
Sure.
Because I was about to probably get kicked out of school for cussing this lady out. Like, I was about to go nuts on her. And so I called my mom, and we're talking, trying to say, yeah, you know, it's okay, baby, it's okay. Like, my mom worked hard her whole life. Like, that Cadillac, Ryan Ermanni, she leased and purchased that. My stepdad, his Aurora that he drove, he worked hard as a Detroit public schools teacher to earn that, to get that and be able to do what he wanted. My dad, his Durango, and then my stepmom with her with her brand new Saturn. My family worked hard. Morgan Trent was a DB out of Orchard Lake St. Mary's. When I think he got there my freshman year. My senior year, excuse me. His first year was 04, my last year. He ran on my dad's track team. His parents owned a shop where they work on cars. Like, they owned a car shop, if you will. Rims, tires, all that kind of stuff. And his mom was an attorney or something. They had money. He got his car stolen down in Detroit. He had a brand new Grand Prix, like lipped. He had red lip tires on the white walls. He had PlayStation in the back. I told him about driving that in Detroit, but that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. But yeah, his parents bought him that, and they earned that, and some of the same things. Look, man, like, everybody's not a broke ass kid from the city. Like, everybody's not a kid. Every black student that comes there is not broke. His parents aren't broke. Like, so stop assuming that. And this is why I hate they write articles without talking to people. All they had to do was talk to Blake Corum. All they had to do was see the article. All they had to do was say Blake car's got stolen.
That's
all they had to do. Blake
Corum's
car got stolen, but instead you try to add extras. It's like, yeah, his NIL. It wasn't his NIL. I hate when people do this. Stop reporting on assumptions, man.
Yeah, that's well said, Braylon. That's well said. That's just say his car got stolen.
His car got stolen.
Right.
How hard is that?
Yeah, my goodness. Guys, want to get to some Detroit Lions talk because this offseason, one of the things that I think the playoffs have done for everybody is kind of gives you a blueprint how teams are going about winning championships, and obviously the quarterback position is a big thing, but up front and defensively too. So ESPN went, kind of team by team a couple of days ago, and they talked about what the Detroit Lions' biggest offseason prediction was. And I'm going to read it for you. They have 8 total draft picks, $27.5 million under the cap, 2 first-round picks. Here it is. Big prediction for the Lions offseason. The Lions will go on a defensive spending spree with veteran defenders attracted to playing for no-nonsense coach Dan Campbell. Lavonte David, that's a name that we've mentioned here, will set the tone for the defense next to Malcolm Rodriguez, that inside linebacker. James Bradbury will give the Lions a solid veteran cornerback to line up opposite Jeff Okudah. And at safety, Von Bell replaces Deshaun Elliott next to second-year free safety Kirby Joseph. It's fun. I don't want to say, I'm not going to say I told you so, but this is exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
You sign free agents every level, defensive line, linebacker, and safety. And that is how, and you let these guys, Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Paschal, Malcolm Rodriguez, the Jackson State, James Houston. Let these guys develop. That is where you're going to start getting better when these rookies, these 5 rookies really last year defensively, are going to get so much better for you in year 2 than they were in year 1. That's how I think you attack it. Again, Von Bell from Cincinnati, James Bradbury from Philadelphia, and Lavonte David from Tampa Bay, 2 of the 3 players still playing right now.
Yeah, 100%. Good thing about it is, and we talk about this, is also it adds players that have experience, players that have championship, players that understand how to mold younger players, how to bring them along, how to get them in line, how to give, when you're young, Ryan, in this league, and you don't have any veteran mentorship or any veterans helping you out, any veterans bringing you along, any veterans showing you how to do it, you're just grasping at straws. You're trying to figure out how to watch film. I'm trying to figure out how to study film. What am I studying when I'm watching film? When I'm going on practice by myself, what am I looking for? What are the things I'm trying to work on? A lot of these veterans can come in and teach you that. So that's another reason why you want to get these veterans in there. Lavonte David is a Super Bowl winner, and he was a catalyst for why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that Super Bowl 2 years ago. So you bring in a guy like that. Or even a Devin Bush. I mean, look about Lavonte David, and one thing about him is he's 33. Devin Bush is a little younger, but that cachet, Super Bowl champion, Bradbury, they're about to be in the Super Bowl if they beat the 49ers. If not, still a damn good DB that can work with the younger guys on the team. Kirby Joseph, an exceptional safety, but you don't think he could benefit from a Von Bell? You don't think he can benefit? So I think this is great moves, and these guys won't be super expensive. Bradbury may cost you a pretty penny, but these guys won't be extremely expensive, and it allows you to play in the draft. It allows you to have fun in the draft and be more relaxed, if you will. So I like these moves, and that's what we're talking about, saving some of that, some of those draft picks on trying to go out and getting a player that needs to start right now when it's not there. Sometimes it's not there. That's fine. We'll just get them in free agency. It won't cost that much money, and then we can draft how we want to.
I'm curious to see what the Lions do. You forget they're going to get Tracy Walker back this year too. Now, do you need to sign a Von Bell? But I think you might have to. The only problem, and here's where I'll defer to you on this, and we've mentioned this before, but Tracy Walker and Kirby Joseph play the same position. Kirby Joseph's got to play the free safety next year. I mean, he just does. I mean, he's a ball-hawking free safety that got better each and every week as the year went on. He's only going to get better from here. Tracy Walker, on the other hand, when he moves from free side, strong side, I mean, that's how difficult is that when you play a position that you're not used to playing? It's not your natural position. How quickly do you learn that? Are you able to do that?
Tracy Walker might be out of a job. And I'm going to tell you like this. Playing strong is tough. You know, it's a tough switch because strong safeties are usually, they're somewhat of a linebacker, somewhat of a safety. Like they have DB skills, but they have more linebacker skills. So to have somebody as a free safety that controls the offense, controls the defense, likes to be a ball hawk, likes to roam around, likes to be free range, plays. You know, he's a DB. He's in the secondary. He's the mind of the secondary. It's tough to go to strong safety. It's tough to go in that box. Like Tracy Walker he's a skinnier dude, if you will, like tall but skinnier, lanky dude. Man, it's some big boys down there. It's some big running backs. It's some big fullbacks. Like when you play strong safety, you're gonna have to go hit Juszczyk sometimes. The fullback from the 49ers.
Yeah. Kyle Juszczyk.
Hey, it's a big dude. It's some big tight ends in the league. Like when you play strong safety, look at the big tight ends the Lions have. Brian Rice is a big dude. Zylstra's a big guy. Like you look at these tight. Some of these dudes are big. Now you got to go in there and bang with them. Marlon Jackson moved from corner. Now this is different. Moved from corner to strong safety when we were in Michigan because we want to keep all our best DBs on the field. Man, you start having shoulder problems. You start having like little tweaks here and there. You start getting banged up in his head because you're doing more. You're doing more banging. You're banging with guys, so it's a tough switch. And you're talking about doing this and learning this off of an Achilles injury.
Right.
One of the worst injuries you can get, Achilles injury and patella tendon. And microfracture. Those are the injuries that you never necessarily come back 100%. So it's a tough switch and coming off a tough time for him with the injury. That just might be a contract that gets eaten.
Lavonte David is a name. I think that would be just a slam dunk signing for now. He's a little bit long in the tooth, but we see guys. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you take care of your body in today's NFL, in today's world, that's just what it is. I mean, Lavonte David can come here and bring a championship mentality to this Lions defense, and it's something that I think you thought or you hoped you were going to get from who's the defensive lineman from the Rams? Michael Brockers. You were hoping he was going to add some veteran stability to this thing, and he was getting healthy scratched left and right throughout the season. He did not provide that, but a guy like Lavonte David might be able to do that.
I love Lavonte David, and I was all on board when you said it. I think I brought up two names. I said Devin Bush or Lavonte David. The more I've had time to think about it, I mean, Lavonte is definitely the one you bring in. You're going to pay him more money, but you bring him in, he instantly brings in championship cachet. He instantly brings in a leader of a defense that was, one of those defenses in the playoffs. Like that Tampa Bay defense had one of the best runs that we've seen defensively in the past 15 years or so. So he definitely brings that with him. But at the same time, that 33, you bring a guy like Devin Bush, and it's not because I went to Michigan. This isn't a Michigan thing. It's just I'm looking at a guy that got drafted in the 2017 draft. He was injured a little bit, nothing necessarily majorly. He's trying to find his levels. We've seen him when he's healthy. He's a stud when he's healthy. In the NFL, not even college. He's a stud when he's healthy. He can hit. He's a leader. He can run. He's a side-to-side guy. He can play the pass. He's a guy that's nice that hasn't necessarily had a full season health-wise and a season with the Steelers because they've struggled. The Steelers haven't been the same Steelers. Now, they've been 50 or above, at the 50% mark or above. So no losing seasons for Mike Tomlin, but they haven't been the same Steelers necessarily that we remember. He needs another shot, fresh air. We talk about it all the time. Get a guy, put him in a fresh situation, new situation. He's a hard worker. He's a fast guy. He's physical. You saw what he was at Michigan. He's still that same guy. Look at what that defense they're trying to build under Aaron Glenn. This could be a guy that could be there for some years, Ryan and Maya. You're not just looking for a guy like Lavonte David that could be there for 3 years, 4 years. Devin Bush could be a Detroit Lion for the better part of 8 years or so.
We'll go around the NFL next. Why is Eli Apple trolling anybody? We'll talk about that. But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. Let me tell you about Custom Health Centers. Got on the scale today. I really liked what I saw, and I have Custom Health Centers to thank for that. They take the willpower out of weight loss. Whether it's 20 pounds, 120 pounds, Custom Health Centers has a customized approach for your weight loss needs. That's right. They're helping me along as well. They will absolutely help you. 844-789-THIN. That number again, 844-789-THIN.
You don't have
have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Matrix Home Solutions is your go-to for any home project. Looking for that new man cave? Matrix has you covered. They are your basement model experts that also specialize in bathrooms and kitchens as well. With the A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, why not give them a try? Call them today at 888-594-8844, or you can always check them out online at matrixhomesolutions.com.
Thanks to everybody in the woodwardsports.com chat. Ethan Brown, Ryan has lost so much weight, it's saving him money on clown makeup. Thank you for that, Ethan. Get it, clown?
No, first of all, I'm not slow. I get it. Like, sometimes when they do the clown emoji, like, I think it's fun. Like, they do this clown because it's a thing now.
Right.
More so than anything. But when you go out the way to do stuff like that, that's like come on, Ethan.
Hey,
like,
you just trying to be mean.
Exactly.
Man.
Like, what do you do? Like, what are you doing right now? Out of curiosity. But
trying to be mean or funny, and neither. It is neither.
It's all good. Tell your moms make some more meatloaf, man. Mom, where's the meatloaf? That's what you're doing right now. Somebody's basement. No, but anyway, you know the best thing about that tweet from Blake Corum?
He says we love you. We love you too, Ethan. We're just playing. We're having fun with you back. We're having fun with you back, buddy.
See what happens? You start having fun back. It's like, whoa, wait, hold on. Wait. Nah, but I like how Blake Corum ended that tweet. You know, he said, God bless. Like, Blake Corum was one of them. You don't find guys like that often. I'm glad he's coming back because, like, that's going to be another freshman that gets a chance to have Blake Corum on the team and can learn from Blake, can learn how to be a Michigan, learn how to be a good guy, if he was. Not a lot of good guys out here. So, Blake Corum, I love how he ended that because it could have went a different route, if you will.
I got to talk about this. I wanted to talk to you about this yesterday, but we were having so much fun talking about the actual games, what happened on the field. Didn't get much of a chance to talk about what happened off the field. And it starts with Stefon Diggs. Report the report was after the Bills lost to the Bengals, Stefon Diggs packed up his belongings and left the locker room before the Bills coaches were even down the tunnel. Teammate Duke Johnson, who's on the practice squad, by the way,
University of Miami running back, stopped
Diggs before he left the stadium and brought him back. Diggs then left a few minutes later, and then all of a sudden you've got Eli Apple. Oh, well, first of all, Stefon Diggs, just to go on with this. Want me to be okay with our level of play when it's not up to the standard? Nah. And so you've got a lot of people talking about, is that an appropriate response from Stefon Diggs? Eli Apple, of all people, trolling Diggs and the Bills on Twitter, saying Cancun on 3 with the Damar Hamlin heart emoji. And then someone get them in couples therapy, showing the video of Diggs raising his arms to Josh Allen. My goodness. 2 different things there, but one big story, Bray.
Eli Apple was a piece of work. Like, for you to be consistently getting done wrong, like, we don't even need to, but started Eli Apple with the New York Giants, and you're supposed to be, the heaven sent at DB, and you keep getting roasted. You only last 2 years there, and you leave there to go to the Saints, then you give up one of the biggest plays in NFL history. Then you go to the Cincinnati Bengals, and you give a play after play after play. But you know what? He has a voice, so hey, who am I to shut him down? With the Stefon Diggs thing, it was ugly. It was one of those deals where he's yelling at Josh Allen on the sideline. For all those making a lot about him yelling at Josh Allen, like he shouldn't be talking to the quarterback like that. Why is it the quarterback can yell at the wide receivers or yell at the offensive lineman and yell at anybody, but when someone yells at the quarterback, all of a sudden it's, shut up. They're teammates. They're brothers. Brothers fight. Me and my brothers fight, and they're 12 and 15 years younger than I. Brothers fight. It's a part of the game.
We fight.
We don't always agree, contrary to popular belief. What happens on the field, that's for those players on the field. What happens in the locker room, that's for those players in the locker room. That's for them. You just be a fan. You watch the product that happens when the ball is snapped. But just getting back to it, he makes a very good point. Now, I don't necessarily agree with his actions, but I'm just saying quarterbacks do it all the time, pipe down. Tom Brady, how many times he yelled at guys? For the Buffalo Bills, like, I want to know what is going on internally for this to happen, because we hadn't seen Diggs and Josh Allen get to this point till now. But he brings up a very good point. Why are people so quick to talk about what I say or what I did, but not to talk about how bad they played? Like, that was one of the tweets. He said, how is it that you can quick to condemn my actions, but you're okay with the product that we put on the field? I told Maz yesterday, the Buffalo Bills were horrible. They were absolutely horrible on Sunday. You can talk about they limped to the finish line. Yeah, they probably did. But it started in week 3, week 4. You started to notice little things. You started to notice Josh Allen throwing some interceptions in the fourth quarter. Josh Allen's missing some open throws. They can't run the ball. Defense is giving up some plays in the secondary. You just noticed it all year long. If you're a good coach, you start taking care of these things. You start getting ahead of these things, or you start meeting these things head on. You don't let a team like the Bills, who I would say the majority of the offseason money was on the Bills and Josh Allen being an MVP, you don't let a team like that just falter and struggle continuously all the way into the second round of the playoffs. They could have lost the first round of the playoffs. They could have lost the last game of the NFL season. And Sean McDermott never addressed it. So whatever's going on up there, it's bigger than Josh Allen. It's bigger than Stefon Diggs. But Stefon Diggs is a passionate guy. He loves the game. You see how Stefon Diggs, he plays with everything he has. Stefon Diggs didn't get one pass in the second half.
Oh, well, Allen missed him on a touchdown. I mean, he was open, he missed him.
Yeah, it was. It's a 70-yarder.
Yeah, he missed him. It was.
And he told him about it.
Right. I will tell you this. I am totally okay with Stefon Diggs being totally pissed off that they lost, showing the frustration on the sideline. I don't think that was a big deal at all when he said, come on, man, let's go. I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal that he left early. He's mad. As a fan, I think the one thing you want your team, your players, the people that you root for to do after a loss is you want them to be as mad as you are.
Thank you.
At one point, that's got to stop, though. Now I don't want to hear anymore. Like 48 hours after the game, I want it repaired. I want a conversation had. I want somebody. I want to call up my brother and I'm going to tell him, hey, we're good now. But you know what I mean? For 48 hours, at some point, that's got to end. But all that stuff that we saw there, I'm totally fine with it. But it's got to end at some point. It's got to end sometime soon.
I am, and I agree. And the big thing too, you know why I'm also cool with Ryan Ermanni, even being a wide receiver. I'm always be on the wide receiver side. But even beyond that, when you were reading those tweets, you never saw I. You never saw me. You never saw You never saw an individualist act out of Stefon Diggs. It wasn't, I was mad I didn't get more passes, or he should have hit me on that play, or I could have done this, or if I would have. It never was an I thing. It was a we thing. It said our play. How are you guys okay with the product we put on the field? Everything is about the Buffalo Bills. Like, he's saying we as a team stunk. Now, behind closed doors, he probably is like, give me the ball. But the message he put out there was a we thing. It was the Buffalo Bills, us, we, it was all of that. We stunk. We weren't good enough. We didn't put out the good message, but everybody's okay. And I'm pretty sure when you got in that locker room, it was probably people like handshaking and, hey, good season. And that stuff gets old.
Right.
And think about
third year in a row?
No, 4 years for him. For him.
Right.
Because think about his last year with Minnesota, what happened.
Right.
They lost to the Eagles in the NFC Championship. So for him, he's looking at it like, how many times do I got to end the playoffs like this? Watching the confetti fall, or my arms behind my back just looking like, no, it's not going to be. How many times do I got to walk in the locker room and instantly, whoever it is, whatever it is, usually the owner or the GM or some of the coaches or whatever it is, like, all right, man, we'll get them next year. Hey, you know what? Hey, next year. You know what? Great to see. No, I'm tired of hearing that.
Right.
Because next year, one day, it's going to be an opportunity where it's not going to be a next year. And what I mean by that is you see how slowly but surely they're moving away from the goal. The goal is to win the Super Bowl. To get there, you got to get to the conference championship and win the conference championship. They got to the AFC championship, 4 years ago? Now they lose in the divisional round last year. Now they lose in the divisional round again this year, and they got mocked in the divisional round this year. They are regressing, which means last year you lose by a coin flip. This year you get blown out. Next year you don't even make it to the divisional round. You're a wild card. Then you don't make it. So I understand his frustration because it's a great thing that they have, but it's not going to be forever.
Guys, the tweet is still up. I just checked. And the Dallas Cowboys trying to send a message to Dak Prescott. Want to get your take on that, Braylon. It was one of the big discussion points today on some of the morning shows. But first, a message from Fairway Packing, one of my favorite places to eat.
Let's talk about
on
that.
the face of the earth. Well, it's home.
Exactly.
And now you can have a quality meal at home thanks to our friends from Fairway Packing Company. Family owned and operated since 1956. You can try the Burrata Blend burgers or the award-winning Chop House steaks. Impress your friends with a dry-aged Wagyu tomahawk steak. See why the top chefs in the country, my friends, choose Fairway. You could visit their steak shop. Just walk right in. Grab any steak you want. Any cut of meat you want. They've got it there for you. Individually packed incredibly on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods. They ship anywhere as well. Visit them online right now. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Market, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Be sure to check out Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance interview. Many businesses choose the one-to-one effective date. Swiss can help make you sure you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance, give us a shot. I promise you won't be disappointed. And when you call them, hit up my boy Mark.
Very good, Braylon. Very good. I want to get to this. This might be the last day we talk about the losers, though, okay?
Who's a loser?
Well, Dallas, Buffalo.
Yeah. Okay. They're losers. They're losers.
Gotta talk. We've been talking about the losers so much. There's still some football to be played.
There were some winners, right?
Yeah, there were. Right. Exactly. But one more thing about this. Are you surprised? Because I am surprised.
We're still talking about losers?
Yeah, about the losers. That it was allowed. Let me show you the tweet. This is from the Dallas Cowboys official Twitter page. Dak Prescott gave away the ball twice in a narrow loss to the 49ers. In a matchup the Cowboys had a chance to win if they didn't again generate self-inflicted wounds. Wow. On your own, that wasn't the San Francisco 49ers Twitter.
So
that was Dallas's.
So two things. Thing one, from Dak Prescott. How do you rock with the PR point? How do you rock with the PR department moving forward? How do you rock with anybody on social media moving forward? How do you rock? Like, I understand. Are these things true? They are. They are. But one thing about a team, the team, when you keep things in-house, and what I mean by in-house is there's a lot of games where things happen, and just like you have eyes we have eyes as well. So we can see our teammate and be like, we know whose fault it was, or we know a couple of players, or we know the coach didn't do it. But we're not going to come out. And when you do, you see those guys get moved. If you talk about a coach, you talk about a quarterback. Like, those guys get moved. It's the same with the PR department. How do you down your player that you paid? Nobody told you to pay that dude all that money.
Right.
Y'all paid him. But the bigger thing, Ryan Ermanni, nothing moves in Dallas without the express written consent of Jerry Jones. For this to, and keep in mind, what did Jerry Jones miss today? For the first time in forever, Jerry Jones didn't do his weekly radio show today, as this came out today. So Jerry okayed this. Remember what I told you yesterday? I said about that the what's the word I'm looking for? The hype, the pressure, the machine, the distraction, the conflicting reports, the conflicting decisions, the conflicting points of view as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys. It's a tough place to be. Now on the field, it was Dak, but stuff like this can't happen. Like, Jerry, I know you're upset. Like, Jerry looked like he went from 80 to 110 from start to finish. I understand all that. You can't be an organization and let things like this slide. To me, it's unprofessional. It's no support. He wasn't the only player out there messing up. Dalton Schultz, I saw him mess up twice. Exactly, I saw him mess up a couple times.
But that being said, the quarterback is the one that makes 140.
I understand that, but I'm saying, this is the PR team we're talking about. This isn't somebody that wrote an article. It's the PR team.
Well, that's where it is. It is like we talked to Mike.
Separate.
It is. We talked to Mike O'Hara, who writes for DetroitLions.com, or Tim Twentyman, who writes for DetroitLions.com, and I do believe those guys are allowed to write whatever they want.
Right.
They don't come up with the tweets. They don't come up with the titles on what's being tweeted out. So I do think that is separate. I think a social media team, you send in your report to somebody who oversees this. You send in your game, and that person, not like the Mike O'Hara of DallasCowboys.com or whatever, but somebody and puts that out. I just don't like this.
But the PR, the social team is in-house.
Yes,
it's not an outsource. It's not, they're somewhere in the Dallas Cowboys facility, like typing this.
We're saying the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, that's not acceptable. Like, that they write the article and they send it up. Like, that's not acceptable. If you're under the Dallas Cowboys umbrella, which means that that social media team, that social media department, we hired you guys. You work in-house. You represent the Dallas Cowboys. That doesn't represent the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, yeah. Like, if you read the newspaper, like, a columnist doesn't write their own title,
right,
or the headline. There's a headline writer that writes the headline for a column that's put out or whatever. It's not the same person. So I don't blame the writer for that. I do blame whoever the social media person is.
I'm confused right now.
Okay,
you don't blame what writer?
I don't blame the author of the report. I blame the social media person who wrote the tweet.
So I'm confused. I thought it was a tweet that was sent out.
It was.
Okay.
It was a tweet that attached the post-game report.
Gotcha.
The story.
Understood.
Yes.
Understood.
So Twitter, my job is to do the Twitter.
Right.
I read this post-game report from Braylon Edwards.
Understood.
And Ryan Ermanni is going to write the tweet attaching everything to it.
So with that being said, that still is unacceptable.
I agree.
That they would attach the tweet. I'm not mad at the columnist.
Right. So what I'm saying is this. You get enough fire out there, man. And Braylon and I think we have a good rapport, and same on the TV side of things. If you're in a public sphere where people can just crucify you. I mean, I was getting killed yesterday for suggesting that Tom Brady should call the Detroit Lions. I mean, whatever. It's whatever, however you feel about it. But you've got to protect each other up there. And the Dallas Cowboys need to protect Dak Prescott.
More than ever.
because there's enough fire that he's going to get from the outside. You've got to protect the people on your team when you know they're vulnerable, when you know they're in a really tough spot, when you're saying, oh, this is a referendum game on Dak Prescott, so we're going to pile on. Our own organization is going to pile on Dak Prescott. Are you going to try to send him more in the tank, or are you going to try to help him along, forget about this, and come back next year? I just think you have a responsibility to help your teammates out. And that's essentially, if you're all in the organization together, it's your teammate, man. You've got to help him out. Don't pile on, then.
I agree with you. 100%, but once again, it goes back to this. Nothing moves in Dallas without Jerry Jones say so. And I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee you, but somehow, some way, Jerry Jones let this go or sent this in or told them post this, because Jerry's old school. Jerry's like I need to light if a fire hasn't been lit under Dak's ass now, I don't know what needs to happen for it to get lit, but maybe this is him being mad.
Yeah.
Like, Jerry Jones is a billionaire. Jerry Jones worth $3 billion. I think he has the right to be upset. He has the right to be mad. He should be mad at himself as well. But I think he has the right to be mad. And I think maybe this might be an avenue that he's used or he's traveled to release some of that frustration, is to let them post this so Dak knows that, hey, look, I'm pissed at him or blah, 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 because he's not going to get rid of him. Like, Jerry's loyal. He's not gonna get rid. He didn't want to get rid of Tony Romo. He just had no choice. Dak went 13-3. What you gonna do?
Right.
Like, he didn't have a choice. But I think he's pissed. I think he does that. But this is why the Dallas Cowboys are year after year in this position. This is what they do. Often, like, they have a little thing they're trying to hide. Jerry Jones runs outside. He tells the radio show everything that's going on inside. There's no more mystery of what they're going to do this week. Mike McCarthy, like, he goes against what he says. He goes against what Kellen Moore says. He keeps players that the franchise might want to get rid of. They didn't want to play Zeke. No one on that team wanted to pay Zeke that money. Jerry Jones paid him anyway.
Right.
No one wanted to pay Dak that money, especially after he got hurt. Keep in mind, he got hurt. He got paid after he got hurt.
Yes, he did.
Jerry Jones wanted to pay him, so he's doing things in spite of what his son may say, what the coaches may say, stuff like that. You can't win. I don't care how good your team is. When you have that going on, that much back and forth, that much dissension in ranks, you can't win.
Well, and it's why a guy like Sean Payton, it's why Mike McCarthy's the head coach and a guy like Sean Payton isn't. We'll tell you more about that coming up next. But first, a message from SMA.
The Sports Marketing Agency does a great job of providing commentary on their site, thesportsma.com, as it relates to mental health, as it relates to substance use disorder. They want to destigmatize mental health, so we're helping them. They've joined with woodwardsports.com, thesportsma.com. Look, it's okay to not be okay, but when you're going through things, where do you go to get info? Where do you go get information? You know, if somebody else you know is going through things, how do you help them out? Well, you go to thesportsma.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Woodward Sports is brought to you by Cousins Maine Lobster.
Maine Lobster.
Yes, check out their food trucks rolling around the city right now, offering the tastiest lobster rolls, lobster tacos, and so much more. Go to cousinsmainelobster.com and search locations to find out where they will be at around the city of Detroit, or you can always scan that QR code as well too. But you know what? Download their app to go ahead and earn yourself some reward points, and also it lets you order ahead. So check them out. It's Cousins Maine Lobster.
Welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway out today. Fletch JB with us as well. Wanted to talk to you. You know, we were just talking about the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones' involvement there. Sean Payton is not coaching the Dallas Cowboys, and I think one of the reasons why they haven't had a really good head coach since Bill Parcells is because of Jerry Jones' involvement in the team. You know, he's the real power guy there, and what he says goes, and that's just the way it works there. Sean Payton had another interview with the Denver Broncos today. And
it's a horrible picture, by the way.
Yeah, right. We'll see how that goes. They have not they have not updated the picture for Sean Payton since 2005, but it's all good. So he's got a second interview with the Denver Broncos. Chris Myers from Fox, who lives out there in Los Angeles, where Sean Payton loves to be now with his wife. His wife loves to be out in L.A. He says, don't be surprised if Sean Payton waits another year to coach. Speculation has been the Chargers' job with Herbert is what he really wants. Meanwhile, there are other factors that could influence his return. So Denver potentially, you know, Denver's a really hot place right now. I mean, you've got Russell Wilson went out there. Peyton Manning is out there, involved out there. Deion Sanders has made this place just the best place to be right now is Colorado and the Denver area. He's traveling all over. I mean,
here you go. I'm gonna make it very simple for you. The Walls versus the Spanos. It's not even up for debate. Like, everybody kept talking about the Chargers job. I was huge on the Chargers job because I thought it's L.A. You know, it gives you a chance to be a SoFi, gives you a chance to be out there where he likes to be out there. He loves it. Like you said, his wife loves it out there in SoFi. They got Justin Herbert. They have Khalil Mack. They have Bosa on the other side. They have Derwin James. Like, they got the who's who roster. I haven't even named the offensive roster. I mean, lo and behold, if they would ever develop a running game with an actual running back that they have, oh, by the way. So it's a great job. But Spanos family, I don't like them as owners. They seem to be not worried about football, hands off. That's why you have the same GM that's been there, Telesco, since 2013 and has made all the mistakes that he's made, versus Denver and everything you just named. You got the Wall family. They're the only franchise in the NFL that's going to pay him 20 to 25 right now. Like, because right now it's still a hierarchy. It's still like you wait till the market bumps up, and then the owners bump up and say, okay, well, the market's now hit 30 for wide receivers. Now we'll play a receiver 30. There is no market for coaches. It's what a team wants to pay you. The Wall family, you got Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is still a good quarterback. He just played in a terrible system. You can break that system down because all you need is a running game. Oh, by the way, you have Williams at running back. And then everything else you named out there in Denver. You forgot to mention, you got Jokic and the Nuggets that are arguably going to the – they're going to –
It's a hot time to be out there in Denver right now.
They might represent the West in the finals this year. You got the Avalanche that just won the championship, by the way. Like, they just won the
great sports city.
Exactly. They just won the Stanley Cup this past season. So it's a lot going on out there. It's a great time to be out there. And they got the most money, and you're going to have the most control. You'll be able to do what you want. You got good defensive players, good offensive players. He can go out there and write his own ticket and create what he wants to create. And Denver's a great place. Who knows? He might fall back and stay in Denver. It's not that far from L.A.
The only thing about Denver is I'm just not sure how it actually happens.
Right.
Because Denver doesn't have any picks. Seattle's got their first-round picks. You know, I don't know what the Saints are going to want.
But they got one for Bradley Chubb.
Okay.
So they got a one for Chubb. They got a one for Chubb, so they did get one back.
You know, it depends on what the Saints are going to hold you hostage for.
No, they got to get that up, yeah.
Because Denver's a flawed team. Do you want to be giving picks away right now? Is there anybody else out on that coaching mark right now? I mean, You can get D'Amico Ryans. By the way,
that's a terrible first job.
Wait a minute for a second. Okay. Is D'Amico Ryans going to be the last defensive coordinator hired? Because the way this thing is going, I mean, you have to be so good defensively to get hired to be a head coach now in this league. He might be the last defensive coordinator hired in the next couple of years.
Ryan, I am so glad you brought that up. Everybody keeps asking why Leslie Frazier won't get a job. Listen, if you look at it, the way the NFL is going now, actually, where the NFL is, it's all about offense. It's all about offensive-minded coaches. It's all about offense. Like, you need offensive coordinators to become head coaches because that's where the game is. It's all offense. You got to have some offense. Look at the play. Like right now, out of the top 10 offenses in the NFL, 9 of them made the playoffs. You look at the coaches. I saw this earlier. Colin can't take credit for it. This is Colin's take, but it's the truth. You look at the defensive coordinators or defensive-minded coaches that are head coaches. Who went the furthest? Sean McDermott. How did he look? He looked awful. He looked absolutely awful. Brandon Staley. How did he look? One of the worst meltdown in the second half of in an NFL playoff game. Bill Belichick didn't make the playoffs. You look at Ron Rivera, he's 8-1. You look at the list of defensive coordinators. Oh, excuse me, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was the other one. He lost in the first round. Out of 14 teams, 11 of them had offensive-minded coaches. You got to have an offensive-minded coach now to win. The defensive coaches, they're just not having that success anymore because they try to hold on to defense. They try to hold on to some of that culture and defense. Look at the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears have been defensive-minded since 85, trying to hold on to the 85 Bears, the monsters of the Midway. It's not happening for them. Like being a defensive-minded coach. Now look at Vrabel. It was only so long before Vrabel that ran its course. And now the Tennessee Titans are no longer winning the AFC North. The AFC South, excuse me. The offensive coordinators that day, all of them are getting jobs. Look at Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's a defensive-minded coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Can't get over the hump in Minnesota. Can't get over the hill. Can't win games in close moments. Kevin O'Connell, my former teammate, first year Green head coach, offensive coordinator for the Rams last year in the Super Bowl. He won 13 games this year. And oh, by the way, 11-0 in tight games.
Braylon, that's an incredible take because I'll tell you, if you look at the stats right now, look at the stats.
Look at the Lions finally have success. Why was that success had for the most part?
The Lions are the only team in the top 10 offenses in football that did not make the playoffs this year. Conversely, if you go to the defense, top 10 defenses in the National Football League, 50-50.
Yep.
You got a 50-50 shot.
Yep.
So let me ask you that. Let's explore this a little bit further. And maybe we could follow up on it tomorrow. I said this a couple of days ago, and I'm not so sure I'm wrong. I would think seriously about going offense in round one. Make what you do better. Make your strength an even bigger strength and figure out your defense. Sure, I'm not saying take 8 picks and pick all 8 on offense. I mean, spend some picks on defense. But you're seeing what you did. You got Pascal in the second round. You got Houston in the sixth round. You've got Malcolm Rodriguez in the 4th round. You've got Kirby Joseph in the 3rd round. So you do see that you have the ability to draft some defensive starters in those rounds. Why not go offense there? Because I'm telling you, make your strength even greater. 9 of the top 10 offenses in the NFL this year made the playoffs. Just 5 of the top 10 defenses made the playoffs. I don't know, Braylon. It seems pretty simple what the formula is for success. I want your comment on this. We'll talk more about this tomorrow, but we still have some time.
Okay.
I want your formula on this. But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
Yes, that's right. The Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck is home to the original football bowling game with 2 ways to play, $12 unlimited play, or you can reserve a lane for you and up to 10 people for $120. They got the $2 mystery beer machine and a fully loaded bar as well. So check them out at foldingwarehouse.com and get your fold on.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, hey, JB.
Hey, what's going on, Ryan? JB here letting you know about Planet Fitness and how there are official studio sponsors here at Woodward Sports. But also, they're home to the Judgment-Free Zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere for $10
Only
a month.
$10?
Yes, $10 a month. Or do yourself a favor, upgrade to the Black Card with unlimited guest privileges, the hydro massage, and so much more in club. Join in club today, or you can always check them out at planetfitness.com.
All right, Braylon, attack that for me.
You know what? Detroit is now an offensive-minded team. Ben Johnson is definitely the main reason why the Lions had the success they had. I mean, you look at how the season started and how the season, look at how the season started and look at when we really need to get going to win 8 of the last 10. Ben Johnson, that offense, really kept things moving. When DeAndre Swift's in there, they play well. So they're an offensive-minded team now, but you definitely got to shore up that D-line with that first pick. Like, I'm still in the mind frame of this, man. If I'm picking up Devin Bush or Levante David in the offseason, I'm picking up Von Bell, I'm picking up Bradbury, and I'm making these some free agent moves. That means I have room to draft. In that draft, I got to still take a defensive lineman. I think there's still one big, good one away, man. Maybe it's Miles Murphy from Clemson. Maybe it's Brees from Clemson, or maybe it's the Tyree Wilson kid from Texas Tech. I had a chance to see the Texas Tech TCU game, and he plays inside and outside, and he's a monster. I still think you got to get one of those big guys with that 6th pick. But that 18th pick, I'm open. I'm open. Hey, if it's not a DB, if you don't get a DB at 18, or you don't, want to take Anthony Richardson or whatever the mindset is there, I'm open for. If you don't take a DB there, I'm open for Anthony Richardson. I'm open for Bijan Robinson. I think that would be amazing. You got to trade DeAndre Swift. If you do that, though, the second round, if they don't package these deals or anything, like you're talking about pick 48 right now, I'm back on defense. Like, you got to shore that defense up. The defense was the weak point early on in the year. Remember how well the Lions were playing early in the year when everybody was healthy? And the defense was just horrible. And that defense was there were so many holes in that defense, and they were getting exposed. Fourth quarter games, big moments of games, trying to come back. The end, that 4-minute mark from the second quarter to halftime, got to shore that up. You got to shore that up. And I think getting that defensive lineman, whether it's Murphy, whether it's Johnson, whether it's Brees, that's going to be a big move for the Detroit Lions, who got some players on that line. But after that, that second round pick, that second pick in the first, I'm open to the offensive thing. If it's, one of those guys. Side note, some of the picks, some of the free agents, their money, their tagline came out. Their projected price point, Jamal Williams' price point came out. It's $4 million. You're telling me we can't get 2 years out of Jamal Williams at $8 million? That's too much?
Absolutely. If that's the price, that's 100%.
I thought you'd be happy about that.
If that's the price point, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. Part of the scouting, too, a couple of days ago, the Lions did lose Director of Collegiate Scouting Dave Sears, went to the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's a big deal because he did an incredible job in the scouting department last year. Obviously, when you pull 7 starters essentially out of a freaking draft, I mean, that is insane. So something to keep an eye on there moving forward.
Holmes.
Did want to pull this up. Brock Purdy. This is why you take a quarterback every year, right? Rick Goslin, former writer for the Cowboys. Brock Purdy is a perfect example of the Ron Wolf philosophy of draft a quarterback every year, whether you need one or not. Use a late-round pick to develop him over time, and then either play him or trade him. You never want to be caught short at that position. I mean, it just does highlight, right? The San Francisco 49ers of all teams, right? You take the number 3 overall pick in Trey Lance. You've got him. He's going to be your starter. You can't move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, so you've got him back, and you still take a quarterback in the 7th round. It's just that's how you win. That's winning football.
And you're still in a position to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you're still in a position to win the Super Bowl. Mike Tannenbaum came on our show 3 times, and he told you this. You fell in love with this idea. It's the right idea. Talked about what Green Bay did for years upon years upon years. All the guys that they had backing up Brett Favre, all the guys that they had backing up, Aaron early on. This absolute great concept. You got to have a backup quarterback. You got to have a guy that's on the team, guy that knows the system, not a guy that you're trying to plug and play in here, unless this is a backup quarterback that you're paying some money, like I think they need to do this year. But definitely got to draft a quarterback at some point in this draft. If it's not, if you're not doing Anthony Richardson at 18, then you got to find somebody from maybe 4, maybe 4th round guy. You find a guy. Like, look at Sam Howell. Where did Sam Howell go? He went 2nd? Or 3rd.
I don't remember where Sam Howell went.
He might have went 2nd. Look what he did for the Washington Commanders.
No doubt.
He beat Dallas Cowboys. So you gotta have one guy on the team, man. You gotta draft a guy.
No. Hey, have you seen the line move in the Bengals Chiefs game? It started out with the Chiefs minus 1.5. So they were the favorite in this one. Chiefs minus 1.5. Yesterday it flipped essentially 3 points. It flipped 3 points to now the Bengals minus 1.5. Now Bengals up to 2.5. That tells me that Patrick Mahomes is injured.
I don't understand how the line came out after the game, after the Chiefs and after the Chiefs lost the Jacksonville Jaguars. After that game, I don't know how the line came out after the Bills and Bengals, and the line was already 2.5 for the Chiefs. And the reason why I don't understand that. High ankle sprain. You're talking about a quarterback, Ryan, that a lot of his magic happens moving. A lot of his he's not Lamar Jackson in the sense that he's about to run for a 70-yard touchdown, but he moves almost more in the pocket than Lamar Jackson. He steps up on every play in the pocket. He shifts, slides to the right, does spin moves, does go run around. He does a lot of that stuff. You can't do that with a high ankle sprain. And everybody was like, well, he did it in the game. He limped the whole second half with a Toradol shot, because I know for sure they gave him one of those smoking greases used to call them. They gave him a Toradol shot and adrenaline. Remember Isaiah Thomas, the infamous Lakers game?
Yep.
He was out there hobbling and trying to make it happen and going about it and whatever. And he did as much as he could on adrenaline and Toradol and an extra ankle tape, right? Look what happened to him the next day when he tried to walk on. Look what happened when he tried to play on it 2 games later. That thing gets worse as a high ankle sprain. He's not going to be the same player. The only lucky thing he's not the NBA Finals where you got to play next game or you got to play 2 nights. He'll have 7 games, Ryan, but he's going to play. But it's not going to be the same, but maybe he'll have a moment.
All right, so there it is. And the moment for us is now to get out of here. Heavyweights come up 5 to 7. If you missed anything, woodwardsports.com. Braylon, get us out of here.
Yo, Red Wings Sharp 7 o'clock tonight. I will be in the building.
Full
Let's
report
go
tomorrow.
Wings, baby.
Full report
Let's go
tomorrow.
Wings. Yeah, I'll be there for sure. Full report coming in. Wings, LCA, bucket. I'm there. JB Fletch, hell of a job by you. Maz, we miss you. As you see in the background, we will see you tomorrow. Ryan, love you, brother. We are Ermanni, Edwards, and tomorrow we'll be with Maz. See you guys later.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.